Hey everybody, this is a video about the John Deere 2025 R tractor. I'm a new owner and I just got this thing last year, so I had it for about a year. And you know, the dealer sometimes doesn't give you the whole orientation about the unit, and it's difficult to learn, you know, other than just getting out and using it. So I thought I'd make a video to show you what I've learned as a new owner and newbie, you know, still learning, and hopefully that'll help. You know, there's a lot of good content out there on YouTube if you want to learn about this stuff. Tractor Time with Tim, Good Works Tractors, you know, these guys really know what they're doing. But a newbie's perspective on, you know, how this thing works and the basic operation is what I'm going to cover in this video here. So so just do kind of a basic walk around in the machine. 2025 is the 2 series, so the 2.0 is the 2 series, the 25 is the horsepower. The 25 horsepower, which may not sound like a lot, but that is actually a very, very powerful tractor. The thing altogether with attachments is going to weigh about as much as a car, so it's a pretty sturdy machine. On the front here is the loader bracket. That's this thing. This is the quick attach part of it right here. That's how you attach attachments to it. The loader is this whole bracket piece here, and then also over there with the hydraulics on it. So important to have a loader. You can do many things with it, and comes in handy for really getting the full value out of the tractor. So I've got a mower deck on this. This is a mid-mount mower, 54D. It's 54 inches across. It's a little smaller than the standard is usually a 60 inch, but I didn't need that big a one. And it's also a drive over, which I'm going to show in a different video. It's easy to unhook it. It's a little bit more difficult to get it hooked back up, but it does kind of auto connect. You need to help it a little bit, but that's the mower deck down there at the bottom. You know, a couple things on the unit itself here. You sit in the driver's seat here. The brake pedal's over here on the left, right there. On the dash here, you've got a tachometer here. It's going to show the engine speed, not the miles per hour, but the engine speed. And then also in this little window here, I'll show the hours of the machine, and also if you're running any implements, it's going to show the speed with which those are running. Temperature gauge up there. It's got turn signals here, right and left. Headlamps here, a couple different settings to turn your lights on. The ignition key is here to start it. It's a diesel engine, so what that means is it takes a little bit longer to start. You got to make sure it's warm before you turn the key all the way over. If it's cold, you just want to make sure that it kind of clicks for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 seconds, and by doing that you just kind of move this just right here to the middle instead of turning it all the way on. Let it kind of click a few times, and then you can turn it all the way over to get it to run. Throttle's right here. This is the lever that controls the engine speed, so it's slow here at the turtle and then fast up there with the rabbit. I usually keep it down at the lowest level whenever I shut it off. You have to just kind of get a feeling for this. So obviously at idle speed you're not going to be doing much. You're going to want to put some power into it whenever you need to get going. You don't want to exceed the power limits either, so try to keep it somewhere in the middle. And when you need more power to get up a hill, or you know, more power to run the implements you got, then you can, you know, push the throttle up. This little yellow button here is for my mower, or the mid PTO. So when this is running, I'm just going to when I want the mower to go on, I'm just going to hit the top of this thing here, push it in. The mower's going to start. To shut it off, just hit the bottom. That'll turn it off. It's got a parking brake, which is this thing right here. You basically push down on the brake pedal, and then you pull this thing up to engage it, and then same thing, push it back down to disengage it. Right there. 2 speeds. This is right here. It's got a high and a low. and it's right in the neutral position right here. And I always, when I stop it, I leave it in neutral, so when you're ready to go, sometimes a little bit tough to get going. You have to kind of, you don't want to force this thing too much, but basically when the engine's on, if it's not going easily, I usually just tap the forward or the reverse pedal to try to loosen it up, maybe let the thing roll for just a few inches, and then normally it'll engage after that. Forward and reverse pedals are over here. So it's not a gas pedal, but it's directional. So again, the gas is going to be here. The more throttle is up, the faster you're going to go. But this is the forward pedal, that's the reverse pedal. So you're just using one or the other depending on what direction you want to go in, right there. Over on this side, this is the joystick. So this operates the loader in front, and it's got a little pattern on it here, kind of see the direction, but basically it's pretty simple. If you want to put the bucket down, you're pushing it straight forward, or put the loader down. If you want to bring the loader up, you're bringing it all the way back, just kind of straight back. If you want to scoop, you're going to push it this way to the left, so I'm scooping. And then if I want to dump, I'm going to go the other way, out that way. So normally when I'm going to go pick up something with the loader, I'm putting this thing down, I'm going forward on the pedal here, I go forward a little bit, then I start to come in with the joystick this way. That's going to scoop it up, start to scoop the bucket, and then pull back. That'll pull the bucket up in the front. And then when, of course, when you're going to unload, you just can drop this and then drop the bucket down. So it takes a little bit of getting used to there. This thing here is called the rock shaft lever. This controls the height of the 3-point hitch, which I'll show you in just a minute. But when it's all the way back, the hitch is up. When it's all the way down, the hitch is down. And if you want to kind of hold it in position, this little guy will screw down in here wherever you want to hold that level. So usually I have this thing up for clearance in the back, but really depends on what height you need for your 3-point hitch as to where you put that thing there. This tractor's also got 4-wheel drive, so that's what this is. I don't know if this is coming out here too well, but the 4-wheel drive lever is here. When it's pushed all the way down, 4-wheel drive is engaged. When it's pulled up, the 4-wheel drive is off. So that is very useful. I use the 4-wheel drive a lot. I was told not to overuse it. Not really sure why, but we have a lot of hills out here where I use the tractor, and you really need it. If you're snow plowing or something like that, you gotta have the 4-wheel drive in. But I guess like anything, you don't want to overuse it. Take a look back here. This is the Pto lever. So this little yellow knob here, it's got 3 different settings, and it depends on which part of the tractor you want to run. PTO is power takeoff, meaning the engine is not only powering the tractor, but it's powering some kind of implement here, like it'll power the mower deck, or it'll power the rear spline down here if you have an attachment on here that requires that. So PTO is going to transfer that power to those implements. That's what it stands for. So on here it's got 3 settings. The one at the back is for the mid mower. That's the one I'm using because that's what I've got on here. That's in the middle of the tractor. That's running that one. The 2100 on there is the maximum speed you want to run that at. And the speed you're going to see once it's running, you can't see it now, but is going to be right in this little window up here. It'll say a number. So if it gets to 2100, that's going to be the limit. And normally with the mower, I run it maybe, I don't know, 1350 or 1400 or so, so not so much. When the lever's in the middle here, it's operating both the mid PTO and also the rear PTO at the same time. If you had to run 2 implements, both in the middle and the back at the same time, you'd shift this lever there. And then this one here is just for the rear if it's up in the front. So if I don't have the mower deck on, I'm only going to run something in the back, then is where you can engage this lever. 540 then is the maximum RPM for that. And again, the number is going to display in the screen that's in the top here. So This mower deck height is controlled by this little guy right here. This knob controls that. There's different numbers on there for the height of the cut. The way this works, this was a learning for me, is you can't move this knob. You can't move it right now. The rock shaft over this thing has got to be all the way back. In other words, the 3-point hitch all the way to the top, or else this thing won't loosen up. So you're always moving that thing first all the way to the top. Then this thing can move around various levels of cut. I just use a 4. It's kind of prairie grass out here what I'm cutting, so I don't need to cut it real fine or anything, but that's how that's adjusted. And once you adjust this here, then you want to drop this lever back just till it sort of catches and stops, pushing it back, and then that'll set the mower height for you. In the back here, a couple things. This big unit that's on the top here is called the ROPS, R-O-P-S, or Rollover Protection System. You definitely need this, especially if you're on any kind of hills. One of the biggest risks with a tractor like this is that the thing will tip over. So it's really good going straight up or going straight down. When you get on the side, it has a tendency to tip over, and that's what this thing is for. So it stands up pretty high. If the tractor were to tip over, you'd be in the seat here, and there's a seat belt. I always use a seat belt right there. But if you were to tip over, this would keep you from getting crushed, which is a good thing. It can be adjusted down. It's up right now in the position it should be in, but these bolts will come out. It'll flip back over. It's too high to get through a standard garage door, so you actually have to take the thing down if you're going to put it into a garage. Unless you got something high, it doesn't work. So you got to be careful about the height of it. This little thing here is for owner's manual. I actually don't keep mine in there, but there's a little storage box there for that. That rear PTO I was talking about is basically this thing here. Got a little cover on it, but that spline there is what you'd hook up an implement on the back on. The 3-point hitch is back here. The 3 points, 1 at the top, 2 on the side, and 3 on the other side. That's the 3-point hitch, this black bracket here. I bought what they call the John Deere iMatch, which is this unit here. This is a connection. It makes it just easier to connect up implements here. You don't have to, screw 3 different areas. You basically have this thing on here, and it will, as you can see, like I can pull this lever up here. You put various implements in down here. I don't need to do any other connection. I can just load it and then drop the lock in there. So that's the iMatch. And then the other thing that I've got on here right now, let's call it a heavy hitch, which has got a tow receiver here. That's just a standard 2-inch tow receiver if you want to tow anything. It's got a nice little hook on there too. And then really what it does is it's a weight bracket. So all these things here, called suitcase weights, looks kind of like a suitcase. They're 40 pounds each. The nice thing about it is you can adjust the weight really easily. Put more of them on there if you need more traction or ballast in the back, because the front's got a heavy load on it. Take less off if you don't need that. So very easy to adjust. There's a number of different ways to ballast out your tractor. Put boxes on the back. You can fill the tires with fluid, but basically the thing you got to be aware of, and this is something that is a learned thing. I haven't had a problem with this, but it's just good to know it's got to be ballasted out, meaning if you have a lot of weight on the front, the whole thing's going to tip forward, and a lot of times you do get a lot of weight on the front because you're using the loader, you're stuck in something there. So if it tips forward, that's when you can get out of control. So you want some kind of ballast, some kind of backup there to hold the back end of the tractor down. So I really don't need this for mowing, but I just keep it on here just to keep it stored that way. So anyways, that is overview of the tractor. I'll do another video just like how you start it in basic operation, but it's good to get oriented to what the unit looks like and what some of these terms are that you may have heard about it. It's an awesome machine. It does the job that I wanted it to do, and it's a little bit intimidating at first, but like anything, everybody's a newbie once, so you got to learn most of the time by doing and making mistakes and figuring it out. So hopefully this video was helpful, and have a great day.